Hi there, my name is Bridget Mackay. I'm a principal attorney at Mackay Dressler. We're an estate planning focused law firm in Petaluma, California. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about one of the basic questions that people always ask us, which is, why create an estate plan? And I think maybe you've seen an earlier video about what an estate plan is, but just real quick, it's, a trust, living trust, it has all these different names. And I call it an estate plan because it's not just the trust. There's other documents at play here that are important in your life to, satisfy the reasons of why you want to do it that I'm about to go through. So I'm primarily today going to talk about a trust and its support documents, like a durable power of attorney and a healthcare directive. I'm sure there are other videos out there where I describe what those exactly are, but I want to get to the point of why would you create it? Creating a plan like that? Well, a lot of you probably have heard one of the number one reasons is to avoid probate. So what probate is basically if you don't do this plan and you want to do things, or you want your family to be able to do things like pay bills when you've had a stroke or are declining mentally, or if you die, you want them to be able to get to your assets and distribute them according to your wishes. You can't do any of those things without an estate plan without going to court. That's what probate is. So probate is the place where your family will go. It'll be a court process. They'll pay a lot of money and spend a lot of time and effort in getting assets to them or to wherever else they need to go. And if you don't have any plan at all, then the state of California's, code is going to determine where those assets go. So you have an estranged child, well, they're going to inherit as equally as the child that you're close to. So, if that's not motivation enough, I don't know what is. Most of us want to avoid court for the very number one reason is that it is always expensive. There has been, in the 30 years I've been an attorney, there has never been a moment where a client has had to go to court and it was not expensive. And I would say $30,000 to start. So good reason to kind of get your affairs in order, get those documents in place, make sure they say what you want them to say, and that they're sturdy documents. Another reason you would want to create an estate plan is if you have young children, you need to plan for them, because if you were in the proverbial car crash with your spouse or on your own, then who is taking care, physically raising your minor children? The only way for you to have some say in that is to, say in your pour-over will in an estate plan who you want the guardians to be of your children. And then with the rest of the plan, the trust, you're going to provide the assets they need to be raised by this person, to provide them clothes, to provide them education, to provide them housing. So I think that many young families think, oh yeah, I'm young, nothing's going to happen to me, but it does. And if you're not prepared, you have doomed your children to a life of, again, going through court, bouncing around families, not having assets available for them in the time of their greatest need, arguably. Another reason is, hey, we're in a society that has a 60% plus divorce rate. My parents were married for 46 years. All three of their children have had a divorce. It's just the way it is, right? So when we're planning a lot of blended families, so this is second marriages, or even not a marriage, but a relationship, the long-term relationship you have with someone. If you have kids from a prior marriage and you're in a current relationship that's, going well, and this may be the one, you guys need to talk about some stuff. We call it blended families, and a lot of people avoid it. And they only doom themselves to tragedy when they do, because if none of those things are talked out, you could have, and I've seen this, I'm not just pulling this out of a hat, you could have a relationship where one partner owns the house, the other partner lives in this house and has lived there for 20 plus years with their partner. The partner who owns the house passes away, And guess what? The person who's lived there for 25 years with that partner who's, did the garden, replaced the roof, painted the whole house, has all of their stuff there. All of a sudden the kids are knocking on the door and they do not have a shred of rights to that property. And they are kicked out after that loving 25-year relationship. So it's really important to explore these issues with your partner, to be prepared for the inevitable, because we're all gonna die, right? I mean, I can't guarantee you're gonna be incapacitated or not. Might as well plan for that along the way. So another really good reason to create an estate plan. And you shouldn't be deterred that you're not married, because we do plans all the time for couples that live together and have combined resources. And they are just as effective and efficient as a married couple. So we work hard our whole lives and we build these estates, we pay off our homes, we build up our 401k or our IRA, we get ourselves prepared for, the next stage of life. We hopefully have enough money for care, and then we pass away, and all that hard work sometimes falls into incapable hands. And this may be something that we knew about, but we didn't plan for. And all that hard work gets pissed away in a year. It's another thing I've seen, okay? So it's really important for you to be a good steward of assets. Recognize your beneficiaries, skills and not so great skills, and plan for it. It's a perfect way to really put structures in place for those beneficiaries that maybe aren't great with money, or they're special needs. They don't know how to, or they can't handle money. And be able to protect them from either themselves or from, predators that are out there that are wanting to unduly influence them and relieve them of their newfound wealth. So I mentioned also, you might have a special needs beneficiary. What is that? So that's a beneficiary. It's a child, niece, nephew, good friend, godchild, who is somehow needing entitlements from the government or from the county. So things like Medi-Cal, SSI, Section 8 housing, where they're getting care paid for by an outside source, or they're getting their basic needs met by the government entitlement. So they've applied for it, they don't have enough assets on their own to care for that, or they're not capable of managing assets. In that case, if you leave, $100,000 to someone like that, they're gonna lose all of those benefits to start, and it's not gonna be enough money to take over them. And they're gonna need someone to manage those assets for them in some cases. And that's what a special needs trust does, is it lays out where their inheritance goes into like a sub-trust that is just for that beneficiary, that can manage assets for them, stretch those assets for their care throughout their life, and preserve that wealth for them as you've intended it to be, for them to be supplemented on whatever other program they're taking advantage of.